Okay, back to back. I actually offered her a break in between. She said no. But then what happens is though, and don't forget she's been doing the other one for years now, she's now 13. By that time actually, she's got the rest of the day off. Let me give you an example of what happened. Yes?
I just asked, what time do they go to bed if they wake up at 5?
Oh, bedtime is strict. My 5-year-old goes to bed, has bedtime 7:30. The other one 8:30.
13-year-old 8:30.
Yes. Because they need that. Yes, they need that for routine and structure. Because otherwise they can't function properly anyway. They need X number of hours of sleep per night. Anyway, they get not later than 8:30. Let me give you an example of what happened just last Saturday with my 13-year-old. Last week she had performances in school. So that meant that she was doing some theatrical things, which is fine. But it meant that she was not able to do her homework. She had some tests coming up. She didn't have time to do them because she was having this performance that she had to go to rehearsals for. So she spent the entire week doing this theatre thing. Normally, I wake her at 5 a.m. every morning, Monday to Friday, and then work in the evenings as well. So I give her Saturday and Sunday off. But last week, because she had her time occupied by this theatre, by Thursday night, at the end of the last performance, I said, child, did you recognize that this week you have spent a great deal of time doing theatre stuff? She said, yes. I said, so that means that you've had your time. Now I need my time. She looked worried. I said, what that means, child, is that Saturday is coming. You normally get Saturday morning off. Now I knew on the Saturday that there was Christmas fair in her old school, where my 5-year-old is at. And I knew that she would love to go. I know that my 13-year-old, she wouldn't want to miss it. So I said, and I know it's Christmas fair tomorrow, and I know you would not want to miss it. I know you'd love to come, and I wouldn't want you to miss it for anything in the world. But there is a catch. He said, I said, you should know by now. You've had your pound of flesh, now I want mine. You've had your leisure time ahead in advance, now I want mine. So I said, this Saturday, we're going to have to work from 4 till 9. Okay, I said, if you work from 4 till 9, you get the rest of the day off. She said, okay. But half an hour later, she came back, Mom, can we start at 5, not 4? I said, no compromise, no question, no negotiation. 4 to 9, and you're done. Okay? So she went with it. Now, can you see how, because I have to wake her up. For her, every time, all those days that I wake up at 5, I wake up at 4:30. Yes, my sister.
Sorry, did she get a break in between the 4 to 9?
If she wants to, I offered 5-10 minutes. When she was younger, I'll give her 15 minutes. But nowadays, she's so used to it. She's so used to it, she actually said she wants to work back to back. She's been doing it for years now. Okay? So she, for me to wake up at 5, I need to be up well before that. I wake up at 4:30. Make sure I'm alert and all that. Go downstairs, make sure everything is set for her. Okay? This is where the bridge thing comes in. Because I can't just set the alarm and then go to her room, bang her door, and yell at her and say, go downstairs and work. That will not work. Okay? It won't work. You can't do that. And the other thing is, and I'll talk about that in a second in the coming slides, you need to know exactly what she's meant to be doing, when she's meant to be doing it. Otherwise, you can't measure it. Okay? So what happened was, for her to wake up at 4, I knew that I had to be up at 3:45 latest, okay? Which I did, 3:30. And she worked 4 till 9. In fact, she worked 4 till 9:30, which was great. Now, this is the beautiful part, which they all love. So we went to the Christmas fair, and on our way home, or before we left, one of our friends came up and said, can you come home with me to come and play, or something like that, to come to my house? I said, yes, of course. My child jumped up and said, Mom, honestly, this is the first time in my life that I've been happy that you made me work and you woke me up early and I did all my work. I said, yes, you're thinking, smart child. I said, did you know that if you hadn't done that work when your friend came, I would have said, no, you've got work to do. So she was so happy. She said, Mom, I'm so happy that this is the first time in my life I'm so happy that you make me work. So I said, yeah, of course, go with your friend. An hour later they called me. can she stay a little longer? I said, of course, yes. Of course she can. And I said, can she stay? Because we know them very well. Of course she can. So she ended up spending, I think, about 6-7 hours with this family, which is fine because we know them very well. But I love that because she was able to link the fact that she'd done the work, then she could play. That is so important that she learns that. Okay? So next time that makes my job easier. She knows you do the work, which is what life is about. Choices, consequences. Choices, consequences. I don't hit my children. I don't smack them. I've never done. Okay? But there are other very effective ways. Choices, consequences, which is what I teach them at a very young age. It works like magic. Because what I say is, as I've come to realize, based on my experience and my generation, if you raise children by smacking, through smacking and discipline, what happens when there's nobody to smack?
They get away with it.
Say that again, sister?
They get away with things they would do.
Not laid back.
They do. Absolutely. When there's nobody, when they're too old to be smart, they're disorganized, they're a terror to the society, to themselves, to everybody. Okay, so it does not work. What works in the long term is if they understand for choices, there are consequences. So I focus on building the character and teaching choices and consequences. Allow them, teach them, show them, and let them make the mistakes. So I thought I should make those points very quickly. Now I'll go back to my slides. Okay. Now, I said know your child's curriculum, syllabus. Be clear what is expected. Okay? Now you can't do a good job unless we know what our children are expected to do. This is part of still being the bridge. Okay? And what that entailed for me was before my daughter's half term, I'd had a busy time that I hadn't had time to look at what she was doing this particular session. What I had to do was to look at every single subject, broke down every single subject, topic by topic, and worked through it. I looked at all her homework and all her set work and what she'd done, where she did it incorrectly, where she was struggling, where she was doing well. I could nail everything down. And it took me hours to do that. 10 subjects she does. I went through every single one. She's in year 8. Now, that's part of being the bridge. We need to do the work. Okay? When you think about the gentleman who spent 6 months, 6 hours every Saturday with his son, this is what it takes. We need to know what goes on. Because if you don't know, actually, our credibility before our children is questionable. Okay? How can we motivate them when we don't even know what they're doing? What is expected of them? What they're going through? Because at the end of the day, what it's about is us standing, but with them, shoulder to shoulder. Showing them how. Otherwise, you can't show them when you don't know what they're doing. I love the story of a gentleman in America who his mother was not learned. She couldn't even read. Today, he's one of the best scientists in the world. She used to make him do, and his brothers read and set them targets. And after they've done it, she'll mark it. And they didn't know for years that she couldn't read.
I can just say that she doesn't have a class.
Yeah. She couldn't read. She wasn't literate. And it's one of the best minds in the world today. It works. It really works. You just need to put in the work. So you need to be familiar with your child's curriculum. Know exactly what they're meant to do and what is expected of them. And help them to set targets. Know where they're struggling, because that's the only way you can support them. And the only way we can, and it's part of the way we can motivate them is they can't feel motivated if they know we don't know what they're doing. We can't really tell them, you need to work hard in this area, or just work hard, just go and do it. Because at the end of the day, we're not showing them, and they won't take us seriously. Set boundaries. I've mentioned that briefly. We need to set them boundaries. Discipline, choices, consequences. Choices, consequences. And I said, build the character, don't destroy the spirit. That is so important. Because when we destroy their spirit, and if we don't focus on building the character, what happens is by the time they're old enough, we have damaged their spirit. Remember what I said when they first arrived at ours? They loved us implicitly. Absolutely. And I said something, I don't know whether you picked it, until we abuse that trust. And how do we abuse it? When we start to batter them and destroy their spirit and criticize them, because what we do is we're so impatient with them, which is why it's important what I said about do something with them, give them time to learn. It takes time. But we don't give them time, we're impatient, That's one of the ways where we destroy that confidence, we destroy that trust that they have in us. At the end of the day, as adults, if you were to learn, if you don't play golf, for example, and you need to learn how to play golf today, I bet bottom dollar it would take you a really long time to learn it, right? And that's expected. But our children, we want them to pick up something today and master it today. And if they don't, we batter them, we abuse them, we just are impatient with them. We don't have time for them. It's not fair. Okay? Injustice. So we really need to be conscious of that, not to destroy their spirit. Encourage them by giving them responsibility. That is crucial. Because one of the ways we motivate our children is if you give them responsibility, it builds their confidence. Okay? Particularly for boys, responsibilities, boys or girls actually, but responsibilities help them feel valued, a sense of self-worth. In my house, from a very young age, from 3 or 4, my youngest, they start with emptying the bins in the bathroom. Okay? They don't have to do it right, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay? And the others, they start with ironing or cooking, boiling eggs. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's part of giving them time to learn to practice it. Okay? But we need to learn, we need to recognize that we need to give them time. We need time, but we need to start them young. So when we give them responsibility, we build them up. We give them confidence. They see that we trust them. And we give them time to make their mistakes. Okay? I've got some sheet there that said, whatever your child can do, don't do it for them. Don't do it for them because you're in a rush or you're in a hurry. If they can empty the bins, let them do it. If they can iron their clothes, let them do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I love the fact that most uniforms have jumpers on it. So when they start out, when they iron their shirt, they're going to be rubbish at it. It's fine. Part of building the character and their confidence is to allow them to learn with time and through their mistakes. So don't put jumper on it. Let them iron it or not iron. Let them go with it like that. I say to my children, whatever it is somebody going to die? It's a matter of life and death. If it's not, then let it go. Because what we tend to do sometimes is we focus on the immaterial things. Yes. We focus on the irrelevant things. When our focus should be build the spirit, build the character, build the spirit, build the character. So things like you haven't ironed your clothes right or stuff like that, I don't stress over it because it's unnecessary. It won't change the child's future. It certainly will not change the world. Okay? It should be